Hello, my name's Stuart and I'm the Managing Director at ERGOS, and today we are joined by Ray from NFON. Hello.
Hello there, Stuart. Glad to be here. It's really good.
Nice to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about NFON and what you do at NFON, please, Ray?
Absolutely. So NFON, they're a pan-European cloud voice provider. We've been around since 2007. We've got a couple of offices in the UK, and we're in about 17 countries in Europe as well. And we're predominantly focused originally on voice, cloud voice and contact centre, but now have obviously moved heavily into Microsoft Teams and AI technology, because that's where the marketplace is leading to, and where we feel we can assist our partners and customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Microsoft Teams especially, I think that's a really interesting journey. I think a lot of clients, a lot of people over the last sort of like 5 to 6 years have really seen that come on leaps and bounds, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it used to be that, Teams was there, voice was there, and they wouldn't speak, but now they're hand in hand with each other now. And people want that single pane of glass where they can have one application that can provide them with their voice, their chat, their emails, but they want other things now. People don't just want the voice within Microsoft Teams, they're looking at that next element, and they're looking for what else can I have, and they're looking for things such as analytics. So, how many people are making calls, who's receiving calls, who's our busiest team within the organisation, that type of thing. And also with respect to call recording, possibly for mitigation, who said, he said, she said, that type of thing. But sentiment analysis, are lots of people asking for certain things? Are we giving a great customer experience? All of that. So it's coming a lot more, and AI obviously plays a heavy part of the Microsoft Teams journey.
That's really interesting, and trying to just sort of slow that down and break some of those pieces out of there. If we were to go back at the beginning, and we're still seeing companies that have the desktop, maybe a laptop these days. I don't think there's that many desktops that are out there. But if they're still office-based, they've still got the handset, and they can treat things as two separate things. And I think it's that journey that people have come along with Microsoft Teams. And I think through the pandemic and when people started working from home, it became really useful.
Absolutely, that brought that on.
But then a lot of those functions that you've just talked about, they were exclusively to contact centre, weren't they? Or
Absolutely.
The bigger, large telephone systems. So, are you saying now that they're accessible?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everyone thought at a contact centre you had to have great big floors of people answering calls, and that was a contact centre. But a contact centre could be something, half a dozen people taking calls as maybe a support desk or a customer relations desk or something like that. So people need to know, and not everyone is in the office. Yes, a lot of people have returned since the pandemic, but not everyone has. And a lot of people like hybrid working from home. And obviously the supervisors and managers within those organisations, they need to know who's taking those calls, when are they on, when are they off, and because they're working from home. So having some analytics to actually show that information gives great credibility to the organisation that they're answering calls quickly. Do they have enough people? If they do, are they there at the right time? That sort of thing. So yeah, it's more than just a voice, and analytics is so much more now.
That's fascinating, because one of the most common questions that we get asked with people working from home is how do they monitor people's productivity? Because when do we know that people have actually logged in, and do we know that they're staying there for the rest of the day? Are you saying that through some of these tools we can have some dashboards, we can do some reports?
And they're extremely cost effective. It's not a case of, you need to have, masses of infrastructure. It's just an application that sits on, that's, pounds per month for an individual user. So, and it can be moved and, upgraded, downgraded as events throughout the year come on. So summertime, maybe that you need extra people within that summer period, so you can flex up, and then gets towards the autumn, they can flex down, and all of that information can be easily obtained and seen to see the productivity of individual users.
Yeah, so it's actually if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, we now have the options for not very, very much money, to make Teams into a complete telephone system.
Absolutely, yeah, telephone system. And then don't forget, obviously on top of that, people, may want to have sort of a bit of call recording as well, just to see. And again, same sort of price point, same sort of ease of service. And within an organisation, you may have some legal responsibility that they need recordings for a length of time. Another part of the team may only want sort of a small amount of time. And so the mix and match of licenses also helps with that as well. So you can have call recording for 30 days, 1 year, 90 days, sentiment analysis. So you can have things such as maybe, are people getting angry on a call? Are they getting sad? Are they saying certain words constantly? And you can look at the analytics of that and delve into it.
Yeah. And just to dial back, because there's loads of information, loads of really good information there. But we're talking about using Microsoft Teams, which is part of a lot of people's existing Office 365 subscription.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're talking about combining that with an additional voice license on there.
Yeah.
So that actually gives you access to the dial pad so that you can make external calls out. And in a lot of ways, we can then replicate that so that it then goes onto your mobile. So
absolutely, yep.
People can have that flexibility.
Office on the go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the Teams voice element of it. And they used to talk about converged technologies, and I think that's what we're starting to see now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And with NFON, if we just talk about NFON a little bit more, could you just talk a little bit about the history and where they've come from, just to clarify a few bits that you said earlier, really?
Yeah, we've been around since 2007, in the UK since 2013, and we've always been a cloud provider. So we've not sort of gone from a fixed telephone system on site to a cloud. We've always been cloud since birth, and so we've evolved with the cloud, and we can see where that's going. We've also sort of looked at AI technologies and encompassed in and purchased an AI company sort of two plus years ago, before the big AI word was the buzzword of the year. So we could see that what was coming and see the needs of what people are looking for, and encompass that into all of our technology. So yeah, so we do that. But
so it's lots of experience that you're bringing to the table here, and it's that journey from an old telephone box, a bit of tin that used to sit in the back of the office.
In a cupboard, dusty cupboard somewhere.
And ISDN and all of the rest of that. And now we got to the evolution where people talked about VoIP, and that was the buzzword for a long time, wasn't it? Voice over IP, so that you could be making calls over the internet. And then it was about having a cloud or a hosted solution. Yeah. And now it's into your Microsoft Office subscription. And what we're really talking about with NFON today is how you can enrich that with the various different bolt-ons that you've just mentioned.
Yeah. And they don't need to have all of it from one. If someone just simply wants to go, well, we want the voice element, they can start their journey with just the voice element. And as their journey progresses, and as they think, we could do with some analytics, you can then just bolt that on. Oh yeah, we've had a couple of cases we could bolt that on. And then, the far end journey with, you've got agentic AI technology. I mean, an AI, it could be brought into it, but the AI, maybe to you, to me, to the third person, is completely different. And it's understanding what AI is and how it can help their organisation, rather than saying, well, AI encompasses, can do everything. It can do everything, but it's what it can do for your organisation and how it's going to help you, as an organisation, and get better.
Yeah, and I think some of those features, as we said, which were really bundled into contact centre a few years ago, are essential these days. So if you've got a new member of staff that's just coming through and they want flexibility from day one, so maybe they're working in the office 3 days a week but from home 2 days a week, having that call recording so that, when you're doing their probation reviews or some training, being able to pull it back, take some recording out, maybe not even to fault find, but to train, it's such a good tool.
Oh, absolutely. Are they sort of giving the welcome greeting? Are they, trying to upsell someone? Are they doing the things that, as a company, you would want them to do? it's absolutely brilliant. And we can also auto scorecard, so you can auto QA that individual to see. So you haven't got to, the supervisor hasn't got to sit there and go through all of the calls and listen. We can make that automated, so they can automatically look at all of those calls and give that individual agent a scorecard after, have they done this, have they done that. So again, all of it can be automated, taking some of the time and effort out of your day, so it makes it more productive.
And one of the big features that I've really enjoyed running a service desk, as we do at ERGOS here, is the wallboard element of it. You can actually just see who's logged in, who's online, how many calls, average wait time. But more importantly, probably one of the biggest features that I personally have used is when you've dropped a call. Being able to show that actually that number is, there, they called, they weren't picked up for whatever reason, but then get somebody to call them back straight away, your customer service rating just starts to go through the roof.
How good is it? I couldn't get through to ERGOS, and then 10 minutes later they get a phone call. You called us today. Oh, yeah, that's great. Customer service, that individual, that person, then go, wow, they called me back. It literally makes you look so much better.
It does, and if we can start to do that through Teams Voice now, and have all of these remote flexibility elements of people being able to work from their laptop or from their mobile phone, but not be in the office so much. I think that's a real enrichment to people's careers.
Absolutely. You do more with what you've got. Yeah. So you're making you more productive as an organisation. It just makes it better, and then gives great customer service.
Yes. So we've heard about businesses that are adopting Teams Voice, in particular with the small to medium enterprises. If you had to pick one key benefit of working with Teams Voice and with NFON, what would you say is the standout piece?
A single pane of glass within the Teams element, so you've got the one element that you've got all of that in rather than having an application that does this, an application that does that. It's all in that one pane of glass. And NFON, working with NFON, it makes life easier for you, because you're not necessarily going to get up to skill with a certain knowledge on that, so we can help you with that, handhold you with that, and be with you. In other words, be another selling arm or another partner of ERGOS, giving that customer service a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ability to scale up and scale down, as you mentioned before, I think that if we were to compare it with the older PSTN, or even a few years ago when you had a dedicated system to it, if you had 10 more people that were starting to work with you, 10 more handsets, 10 more network points, that's just not there, is it? It's purely a licensing exercise now.
It is. Just turn it on, 30 days, turn it off if you don't need it. And that's the flexibility is just great for everyone, because it means that I haven't got that, you said buying a handset, do I need spend another bit of tin on my desk, 10 more handsets at X cost, or do I just want, roll it up, roll it back on a license? It's model, it's a lot easier.
Yes. And with these third-party applications or the bolt-ons that we're talking about and Teams Voice, is there any quality measures there? Do these bolt-ons degrade the service or cause any issues?
Absolutely not. No, nothing whatsoever. And you don't need to have it for everyone. You can have it for whom you want to have it for as well. So it doesn't degrade the voice service, doesn't degrade the Teams element at all. If you've got Microsoft Teams, you may see there's lots of little applications you can put within the Microsoft Teams environment. We are just one of those that you can put into that Teams environment. But it works. The thing about this is it works. It's very cost effective, and it's a seamless add-on to the Microsoft Teams element that gives you lots and lots of information that people and customers are going to want.
That's really interesting. So just to pick up on one of the points that you mentioned there, so say if we're a team of 10 people, but we've got 4 people that are working in the customer service desk, and then we've got somebody in finance and the managing director and a couple of others. But you're saying that the people that you want to report on can have different licenses
Absolutely.
On the customer service desk, as opposed to the MD or the finance person
Correct.
who doesn't really need it.
No, you can just have the licenses for those 4. And even within those 4, if there's 2 types of of person within those 4, you can even mix and match those 4 as well. So absolutely, it's not one license fits all. It's whatever license that individual person needs can be allocated and can be changed.
And then just to come back to one of the other pieces that we were talking about, some of the more advanced features I think we're getting to now. Can you just talk us through some of those call analytics and what's possible there?
Yeah, I mean, with the call analytics, you can look at calls answered, calls lost, which is very important. You can look at time of first call, time of last call, so you can see when are our busiest periods. And if you've got a missed call, you can actually look at the difference between a missed call and a lost call. So, as an example, someone rings in, you don't answer, that's one missed call. Call in again, still don't answer, a missed call. And call in a third time and they answer, that would often show us 3 missed calls. But what we can do is show the difference between what's actually been missed and whether they've eventually been answered. So you can look at the difference between the missed calls that are actually missed calls and calls that have been eventually answered, or you've called them back, and that gives you an absolute ideal number of how many calls you need to call back because they've not been called back or they've not called in again. As well as you mentioned earlier, wallboards, we can put that all up on a wallboard.
Yeah.
So that's great. It shows the management team or supervisor team of what's happened today, but it also instills into the individuals in that team a sense of, oh look, that team's done 6 calls. I'm sure we can do 7 calls, and gets a little bit of competitiveness. And that's quite nice within an environment of 6 people answering the calls. They're all striving to make sure they answer the calls and get that lost call time down and etc. So
excellent. And yeah, no, that is really good. And I think it's a lot of if we were to start summarising what we're talking about here, is that we're making the most of people's M365 licenses.
Yep.
We're having one contract instead of maybe 2 different providers.
yeah,
We're reducing people's costs in a lot of cases from here, but we're also having the ability to bring in some governance, some reporting, and giving some visibility over a remote workforce, really.
yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the applications need to be. Yeah, you need to have some regulations around them, such as call recording. Everyone looks at is it PCI compliant, GDPR compliant, so it has to be all compliant along those. So you haven't got to worry about that because it's already built in, redacting of credit cards, redacting of certain serial numbers and things like that. So it automatically does that. So you haven't got to, I've got to stop the call or I've got to start the call. It's automatically. So it's a real ease of use, and people, don't even have to think about it. It's just done automatically. So an organisation then gets all of these features for a small nominal cost, and it doesn't take time out of their day on whatever business they've got because it's all being done automatically for them.
That's fantastic. And essentially, to put some wrap around with that, ERGOS are working with NFON, so it wouldn't be a call to 2 different providers. You'd call into the same service desk here. It would be the same engineers that help you and service with your internet connection or your PCs, but we'd be able to look after your phone systems now for you as well.
Which is great because, and we'd be there if we need to, just to assist ERGOS. So it's you're the first line, but we're there if ever you need us, which is good, what you want.
Which is brilliant. And just if we could just take it on to one step further, and I'm really picking your brains now, what are some of the case studies that you've seen or worked with around the AI adoption in this area? Is there anything stand out there that you'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of organisations where what they've done is some solicitors, they used to have like a dictaphone type of thing where they record all of this.
The little pedal under the desk,
And I didn't realise that actually sometimes they have to pay a service for that. There's a cost on a cost. So what we've done is brought in the AI record to it, where they literally, not the AI, we've brought in Botario application into their organisation, and what they've done is they literally have, so they can speak to themselves they just get up any phone, any device, mobile, or Teams, etc. It can be absolutely anything. They dial a number, they can record, automatically then transcripts everything they've said and sends it to them and to their PA to be typed up.
Oh, fantastic.
Or can even go one step further. It can actually go not just be typed up, it can be printed off. So they actually don't need that last element of someone typing it up. So everything can be said and done and typed and brought out until they get a copy on their printer of what they've just said, which a lot of solicitors, and that's using AI technology, using transcription services and things like that. So that's just one example of how it can it helps someone.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. It's all efficiencies, isn't it?
It is. It's all to do with efficiency. It's not, you know, people are thinking, oh, AI, I've got to get rid of it. It's not to do with getting rid of it. It's using what you've got and making it more efficient, more profitable as an organisation.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And really then, just to summarise, or is there anything that maybe I haven't mentioned, or any sort of advantages that you can think of that we want to tell people about?
I think the main thing is, you know, come and speak to you.
Yeah.
They might have some absolutely where they consider a wild idea of, oh, I want to be able to do this in my organisation with my Microsoft Teams, and I want to be able to do this, that, and speak to you, because it's not off limits. It's just a case of sitting down, finding out what you're trying to achieve, and then working a solution to achieve it as well. So whether it's just your Teams voice, whether it's using AI within Teams, whatever reason, it's not a no. It's just a let's sit down and have a discussion, because AI is here.
Yeah.
We can't fight it. And someone said to me, it's like having a horse and a car. You can sit on the horse all day long, but you can see these cars going by. Which one you want to do? So get on board with AI. It's not going away.
Ray, it's been fascinating. Thank you so much for coming in.
No, thanks very much for having us. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.